Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? Hope everyone can hear me. I'm getting double feedback here. That should be up. It should be. All right. Can everybody hear me out there? Radio land there? All right. So I had to mute myself on I'm actually on Instagram too. So we're streaming on two different platforms here. So we're trying to get that right. And thank you so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. Hopefully we will we will have a good show. And all that. If anybody out there is in IG land, just make sure that you give me a thumbs up or give me a one in the chat. You should be able to chat as well, so we can get this thing going. Good evening to everyone. Yes, thank you so much, Myra. Thank you so much for joining, Dolores, Yaden. Thank you so much for coming on. New York Chocolate, 777, Dr. Big L Hunter. It's a lot of names in there, right? So thank you so much for coming on. So I want to have my good friend Dr. B on again, but he is listen, he's my man, but he is a jinx. That man, oh my god. Every time he comes on my show, we end up having some kind of issue. But anyway, I hope everyone is doing out there in Radio Land there. To everyone who's watching, please make sure that you hit that thumbs up. If you want to be acknowledged, make sure that you come in and at least say hello and all that. So I keep getting these alerts here saying we get a flash flood warning. Yeah, okay, we get it. There's a flash flood coming. Okay, so what do we got for today? So today, I kind of struggle with the name that I was going to call this episode. You can see from the thumbnail that I want to talk about the passport bros and all this type of thing, and I want to talk about why these brothers are leaving. And we're gonna start off with our Asian brothers out there. Can't post comments to some destinations. I don't know what that means. I want to just kind of talk about the Asian brothers and just try to talk about this thing. Then, of course, I want to give you guys a chance to kind of chime in. And if anybody wants to come, I'll be happy to drop the link, and you guys can come up and you can, if you want, you can add your 2 cents, or I can read your chats. Either way. So I'm going to do a presentation. I'm going to do a presentation for a little bit. I got about 6 videos to show, and then I'm going to open it up. So just if you want to write things down, that way you don't forget them, because I'm not going to be able to keep up with the chat and kind of give my presentation and all that kind of stuff. So a few videos to watch. So here we go. Right. First video is about something that what's become a bad word. I think that YouTube is kind of banning this word, but it's called simp. China's simp economy collapses. And they have a day over in China, I think it's May 20th, in which it's kind of like a Valentine's Day. And so they're saying that this last May 20th was just a disaster as far as financially. A lot of ladies didn't get any gifts and all that. So I just want to take a look at them. I got 3 videos to show you about what's going on in China, and then a couple of videos to show you about what's going on here in the US. And some people who used to be very, very anti-passport bros are now very much pro-passport bros. So if anyone is not does not understand or know what passport bros is, passport bro is a movement in which mostly American men, but this phenomenon is going on all over the world, which is why I'm addressing it, right? So men from the UK, men from Canada, men from Australia go to these different places, mostly third world, and some places even in Eastern Europe. You can't go to Ukraine right now, but they were going to the Ukraine and just other Eastern European countries looking for wives. And there's been a lot of heat about it. They're weak, they're dusty, they don't really have anything. They're old, they're out of shape. Nobody wants them anyway. Yada 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 yada. So we'll get into all that. So anyway, we're going to start off with China, and in China, something different is going on. China, as we'll see, the ladies are not getting as much attention, right? They got the education, they got the looks, but they're not getting any attention, and they can't figure out why. So we'll get into it. So here's the first video that's going to be up. And hello to Miss Smart Singer and to everyone else who's going to join. So here we go with the first video. Just give me a 1. Let me know you can hear it. I don't want to play it all thing. Just give me a 1 if you can hear this. Give me a 2 if you can't hear it. Give me a 1 if you heard it. Very good. Okay, here we go. Oh, you can't hear it. You cannot hear it. Oh, Lord. All right. All right. All right. Let me try this again here. Also share tab audio. Tab audio. To share audio, share a tab or screen instead. Share a tab. Chrome tab. That's not what I wanted. All right, we'll try this one more time. If this don't work, I'll just change browsers. Okay, give me a 1 or 2 if you can hear it. 1 if you can hear it, 2 if you cannot. If you heard that little blurt. Okay. I got to switch browsers. Give me a second here. I do apologize for this. Share screen. Same thing. Give me a 1 or a 2.
Internet Valentine's Day was particular. This year's
Okay, very good. All right, so they're starting off with May 20th. I'll rewind it. We're only going to play a couple minutes of this.
This year's May 20th Internet Valentine's Day was particularly different. It's not just the flowers scattered all over the ground that are broken, but also the hearts of single and gold-digging women in China. The loudest cries online come from them. A lady who claims to represent older single women said, "Do older single women feel like breaking down on May 20th? I am breaking down, really breaking down. From the moment I woke up this morning until now, I haven't received a single greeting. No one sent me a milk tea, let alone a gift or a red envelope. Do you think I should break down or not?" The key thing is that there's something even more heartbreaking. Right now, I just want to give men gifts, send them rent envelopes, and order them milk tea. I want men to feel the warmth and care that we older single women can give. But I can't even find such a person. I want to be a simp right now. Does that make sense? But I don't even...
She wants to be a simp. She wants to be a simp. She don't have the opportunity.
have the opportunity to be a simp. Do you think being a simp is bad? It's great. At least it proves you are still young, you can still feel moved, and you still have money. Older single women like me don't even have the chance to be a simp anymore. Do you think I should break down or not? The most terrifying is the combination of these gold digging and single women. This woman is 39 years old and has been.
There's a reason they keep calling them gold diggers, and we'll get into that in a minute here. I'm kind of offended by that, but it's what they're saying. So we'll get into why they're calling them gold diggers in a minute.
Unsuccessful in blind dates for years. She demands a dowry of 580,000 yuan to marry her.
She demands a dowry of 580,000 yen, which is $81,000. So in order to marry this woman, you got to give her $81,000.
Today, I want to speak from the heart. I am considered an older single woman by the public, 39 years old this year. I have a master's degree and have never been married. Actually, there are two types of leftover women. One is the ordinary single older woman, and the other is a high-quality single woman like me. I'm still single despite going on many blind dates because my overall qualities are too outstanding, making it hard to find someone who matches me. I don't want to settle, so I remain single. I also found that men around me are very superficial. They only look at your appearance and age, not your inner qualities.
So the men are superficial because the men are considered superficial because they're looking at appearance and age. But meanwhile, they want these crazy dowries. Dr. L, what age do they consider older? I think it's 30 and up. Yeah, the gold digger is definitely triggering. Yeah, I'm not exactly happy about that, but this is what they're saying. So because she wants $81,000, that's the marrier, and we're going into more. There's more qualifications that a man has to do, right? So I'm talking about this because there's qualifications that a man's got to meet, and these men can't meet it. These men can't, and I want you guys to tell me, are these qualifications out of control? So anyway, she's got a master's degree, and again, the men in her estimation are superficial because they want appearance and age, not the inner qualities. But is she looking at the inner qualities? Let's watch and see if she's looking for inner qualities.
No matter how high my education or how excellent my overall qualities are, because I am already 39 years old, I have lost my value in the marriage market. Over the years, I have insisted that my dowry must be 580,000 yuan. I am looking for a first marriage with someone who has not married yet.
So she wants someone who's going to give her $508,000, 80,000 yen, which is 81,000 US dollars. And she's 40, she's 39, which means she's looking for somebody her age or older, right? Who's never been married, not their second or third marriage. I don't know, I don't know if she's gonna get that. I don't know.
Not someone marrying a second or third time. So the only thing I can do is continue to wait for my true soulmate. These remarks directly scared off many male netizens. They commented, "You say average men are scary, but aren't average women just as frightening? Demanding a house, a car, and a dowry, 580,000 yuan alone would take us half a lifetime to save. Forget marriage, just bury us already." The collapse of the simp economy has made it impossible for gold diggers to control simp's wallet. For single women, the dream of marrying a rich and handsome Prince Charming seems even more out of reach. Thus, on 520 Day, a phenomenon emerged on one side, gold diggers getting nothing, and the other side, older single women lamenting, "No man pays attention to me." The so-called simp economy is a popular term that has emerged on the internet in mainland China in recent years. In the simp economy, simp describes those who are excessively attentive and overly adoring of the opposite sex. And the main point is, despite their continuous dedication and attentiveness, they may not necessarily win the favor of the other person. The consumption generated by these simps in their efforts to please is collectively referred to as the simp economy. It must be said that Chinese capitalists have made a fortune off the simp economy.
This is important right here. the Chinese capitalists, right, have made an economy off of this, right? So I mean, it's almost the same thing that's going on here, right? As far as the crazy high standards, only a certain group of people are getting rich.
And those who are vain and willing to use their bodies and look to exchange for gifts and money, treating love as a business, are the gold diggers who rely most on the simp economy. They need men to buy for them. In fact, the rise of the May 20th festival is a consumer trap set by businesses. During good economic times, people don't care much about where their money goes, only whether they spend it happily. Only in economic downturns, when money is tight, do people become clear headed and see through the capitalist schemes.
Right. So that's what we're going through now here in the US, right? Things are getting tight. Everything's going up. And it's like, wait a minute. I don't got money for all this. You want me to give you? Yeah, I don't have money for all this, right? Hello, Deborah. Thank you so much. True Dolores, right? So, wow, that's crazy. I think she needs to lower that dowry and take a divorcee. Her dowry is expensive, right? We're going to get into another video right here. We're going to get into another video. That's enough of that one. So I just kind of wanted to show you that. But her dowry is really expensive. The other ones are average like 28,000 US. Would you all like to get $28,000 to have somebody marry you? All right. So let's see here. Let's go to this one. Huh?
Requirements. So
okay, so this guy's I referred to him before. If you listen to my other podcast, or a couple episodes. So this guy is the Chinese historian. I forget his real name, but he lives in Canada. But you can still hear he's got a kind of an Asian accent. But he lives in Canada. He's planning to go back sometime soon and do some history work or whatever he's doing there. But he started talking about relationships, and he's not married, right? So he's talking about the problems, right? He's like, I want to go back to China, and I'm probably never going to be able to get married, which is crazy. He lives in a big city in Canada, Toronto or Quebec, one of those. He lives somewhere in Canada.
In the comment section. So I want to come back to this topic. So I mentioned in the previous videos that China has a massive excess men problem. There's estimated to be at least 40 million excess men in China, and it is even worse.
Now listen what he just said. 40 million more men than women. Here in the U.S., the women outnumber the men. In particular, in the Black community, Black women outnumber men by 2 million, and Black women still can't really find mates and can't get married. Over there in China, the women have their pick of the litter. 40 million more men. And that's why their standards are so high. I don't want that. I can just pick. I can just be all kind of picky. So that's what they're doing.
In India, that number could be as high as 70 million excess men. This is due to gender selective abortion, as high as 1 million excess men in China. And it is even worse in India. That number could be as high as 70 million excess men. This is due to gender selective abortion and female child infanticide. But however, there's an even bigger problem for the female side. So the recent number that's come up is 100 million. So what do I mean by 100 million? So right now it's estimated that between the ages of 20 to 40, there are at least 100 million women that is single, unmarried, and childless. That seems to be a little bit insane, considering that there are so many excess men. So every single Chinese woman should be able to easily find a good match, right? Well, that's what you would think, right? So in China, there's a term for this. It's called shengnu. So shengnu literally translates to a leftover woman. Now, many, many years ago, let's say back in the 1980s, if you hit the age of 25 and if you're still not married, you were considered shengnu. And then many women started freaking out about this, and they pushed the age back to 27 and 28. And now the standard in 2024 to be considered to be a shengnu in China is at the age of 30. So I mentioned this before. The standard for dating and marriage, the requirement for a man has basically become absolutely ridiculous, that very few men will ever meet these requirements. So all of these single ladies end up becoming cat parents. Here are some examples. For example, this is what you need for a man to find a Chinese wife right now in 2024 in the...
I'm going to pause it right now. So let's take a look at this, right? He's got to be 5'10". Now, Asian men tend to be a little bit shorter, average wise. I think their average height is like 5'7", where here in America, it's like 5'9". So they go 2 inches shorter. So he's got to be 5'10", almost 5'11". So you got to be 5'11", right? Stand up, You got to have a 3-bedroom house, a brand new car, right? And I didn't do the math on this as far as the conversions. So you got to have a brand new car, high-paying white-collar profession, a dowry of $28,000, so they're a little more realistic. Paid in cash, right? 3 months salary for the wedding ring, a dream wedding, honeymoon. And modern women wonder why they can't get married. So
the modern day, there's the high requirement. The vast majority of Chinese women, I would say over 80%, will only accept men who are at least 180 centimeters. In China, they use metric units. It's about 5 feet and 10.8 inches, which obviously I don't meet that requirement. On top of that, you have to provide a house. And typically at a minimum, these Chinese women, they want 100 square meters or 1,076 square feet. It needs to be a minimum of 3 bedrooms. You need to have a car, which is brand new. You need to pay them caili. So caili translates to dowry. What caili is that it's a cash payment. It's made from the husband to wife. Basically, she's saying that she's the price. And if you want me to marry you, you have to give me this money. And this typically right now in China in modern days, roughly minimum 200,000 yuan. So 200,000 yuan translated to US dollars is roughly $28,000. You're expected to have a minimum income requirement. And also, you're expected to pay 3 months of your salary on the wedding ring. You're also expected to pay for your bride's dream wedding. It cannot just be a cheap wedding at some rec center. And on top of all of this, you're also expected to pay for her dream honeymoon in full.
No dream weddings at rec centers. All you gals out there who want to get married at a rec center, you can't do that.
Ladies, you don't think that's a little bit ridiculous? I'm telling you, the concept of hypergamy is 100% real. It doesn't matter where you go. And to other people asking me, have I tried to talk to my family back in China and they can possibly set me up? If it was easy, I would have done so many, many years ago. It's literally impossible. The first 2 things they ask you is like, what is your height? And I mentioned before, I'm 5'8", right? Just boom, no go. Then after that, they ask you, do you have a house? And if you don't have a house, done. Women will not provide financially for their man. They just wait at the finish line. Well, I'm just telling you this. I'm not trying to be a misogynist or sexist. I'm just saying this is 100% truth, right? She's not gonna date a guy that's broke. She's going to say that, what, let's work together. Let's grind away for the next 5, 6, 7 years so we can save up for a down payment, so we can finally get that dream condo that we wanted. This is why the number of shengnu's in China is skyrocketing, despite the fact that there are tens of millions of excess men. And okay, if you don't believe in hypergamy, there's also a term for the top 1% of income earners in China, okay? It's called xiaosan. So this is all the top 1% of income earners. This is how these successful Chinese men, this is how they roll. All of them have a harem of women. All of them have the Andrew and Tristan Tate mindset. None of them will ever commit to one woman. I know all of you ladies want to blame on the man, but can you really blame these men? Because all of the women wants these exact same top tier guy. So the term xiaosan, which literally translates to a little 3, but it basically means a side chick. It means you're a backup tire. It means your part-time girlfriend. This is your summer fling, your situationship. All of the guys in China, I would say 99% of the Chinese men that's in the top 1% of income earners have this kind of a xiaosan mindset.
Okay, that's enough of that. I just kind of wanted to show you. I know guys are saying he looks like an incel and all that kind of stuff. So, it is what it is. All right, so we'll go on to the next one here. Let's see, close that one out. This will be the last one about what's going on in China. This is an older lady. She's doing what I do, sitting in her car, talking. So we'll do her now.
My name is Lucy, and I have to figure out who I
am. So what about the Chinese men? This is a good question. This is about to be answered. What about the Chinese men getting American Chinese women or going to another Asian country? This video is going to discuss that.
Recently, I have noticed that many foreign women are coming to China and starting to compete with our domestic leftover women for Chinese men. Moreover, these foreign women have begun to settle down and start families here. I would like to clarify that I am not a leftover woman. I am already married with 2 children. I bring up this topic to express concern for our domestic leftover women. With the widespread use of the internet, we often see videos of foreign women marrying Chinese men and having children. For example, women from Romania, Tanzania in Africa, Russia, Vietnam, and even from the Guangxi region.
These Chinese brothers are going to Africa to get women. What y'all think about that?
Such as the Mayanis and Cannon, as well as Italian and African wives from Shaanxi, are among them. Many of these foreign women who marry Chinese men end up having more than 2 children. What's surprising is that their demands are not as high as those of Chinese women. They don't ask for a house or a dowry. This leaves Chinese leftover women puzzled and uncertain about what these foreign women are after. Nowadays, in developed areas like Shanghai, Jiangsu, and Guangdong, an increasing number of children are of mixed race. They grow up in China, speak fluent Chinese, with their fathers being Chinese and their mothers foreign. Additionally, Belarusian women have also married many northern Chinese men. I saw a video online of a Russian girl who married a Chinese man and had 2 lovely children. This Chinese man even took them back home. Such foreign women are very popular in northeast China. I believe the current matchmaking market has indeed become increasingly difficult. Domestic singles are unable to find matches for themselves. Many leftover women are still searching for suitable partners, while now, many young foreign women have entered the market, and their average age is relatively young. In contrast, domestic leftover women are mostly over 28 years old, with many exceeding 35, yet they have not realized the severity of the issue. I have come across many 35-year-old women who still insist on high standards, such as asking for a dowry of 300,000 yuan, a monthly salary of 20,000 yuan, a house, and a...
Did you hear that? A monthly salary, a 20,000 yuan, which is like 2,100 US dollars. I got to give you a big dowry, and I got to pay you to be my wife every every month. $2,000. Yes, African women are married to Chinese men. This is crazy. That's amazing. I'm in shock. They been left no choice but to look out. I'm assuming you talk about the men. Yeah, they don't have a choice, right? I got to save about $28,000, right? Unless I'm a top tier man, I don't have a shot. I'd go overseas too, and they're bringing them back, right? At least, and most of the passport bros in the UK, the United States, Canada, Australia, Western countries, so-called, they go over there and most of them are living over there, right? Or some bring them back, but a lot of them are living over there. These dudes are going to get them and bringing them back. This lady's at the store. She's seeing Russian women speaking Russian and Chinese, right? African people speaking Russian and speaking African, whatever, and Chinese. The little kids running around here. That's got to be depressing. That's a pretty steep checklist. Good luck, ladies. Yeah.
Car, and they still want to find a good match. These demands have kept them single to this day, and they may have rejected many quality men along the way. Now, seeing so many young and beautiful...
What? They rejected quality men along the way, right? What? The guy who's 5'8", 5'9", they rejected this guy? A guy only had $20,000 dowry, so I can't accept that. I can only give you $1,000 a month to be my wife. I can't. This is ridiculous.
Beautiful foreign women marrying Chinese men, it's no wonder they feel anxious and their emotions are mixed. This competition has suddenly made leftover women feel a sense of crisis. If I were a leftover woman, I would also be worried and anxious, feeling like there is someone coming to compete for the market. The market competition is already fierce enough, and many young foreign women are continuously arriving in China. They are young, have lower demands, don't ask for a house, don't require a dowry, and even don't care about the man's height. Naturally, these...
What? So these people come over here, you don't have to have a house, just have an apartment, no dowry. His height requirements are gone. We don't need that. To the question of, I wonder what the mental health stats are for Chinese men. Just go overseas and get one. Go overseas, and if you're, if I'm assuming the vast majority of them are, obviously they I don't know if they want Asian or whatever, but you can go get a Vietnamese girl, a Laotian girl, or whatever, and just come back and just live a nice life. Or they're going to Africa and getting them and whatever. So, Marriage has absolutely nothing to do with love. The dating pool, the dating pool is now in the clearance rack at Ross. What kind of character are they getting with these that make the cut? What kind of character are they getting? I'm sure that a lot of times the women are just probably, and I think she's going to allude to this. They're probably just happy to be in a better situation, right? And they're probably just, just sweeter and nicer, right? Maybe African American women should look at Chinese men. Yeah, listen, listen, they coming over to get them. Maybe Chinese women are concerned about height. Aren't most people lower stature? Chinese men, I think, are average height of 5'7". That's what I googled before. And I don't know what the average height of the ladies are. I think it's like 2 inches lower. So average height of U.S. men is 5'9". And so if they're 5'7", then I would assume it's like 5'2", right? Because the average American woman height is 5'4". So this is all averages, obviously, but I think it's like 5'2". They got to be like 5'2". Okay, 1968. We're not going to do that today. This is your one and only warning. We're not going to do that today.
Men find them appealing. In fact, the goals of these foreign women are also quite clear. They hope that their men will treat them well and that they can live comfortably in China. You may not know that the economic situation in many countries is far worse than in China, and some places are still in conflict, so they are quite satisfied to settle down in China. Meanwhile, domestic women are truly unaware of their own good fortune. In this situation, how can they compete with these foreign women? Additionally, most of these foreign women are fair-skinned and beautiful, and they are willing to stay at home as housewives.
What? They're willing to stay at home as housewives. They're beautiful. Okay. I mean, yeah, they could probably come from different circumstances. And here we go. Shirley says no short men for me. Okay. What's short? What's short for you? What's short? What's short for you? Tell me what's short for you. Yeah. We're gonna get rid of this dude. This dude. Yeah, we'll get rid of that dude. What's short? Mexican men, Asian men, too short for me. Hello there, Keith. All right, so we'll get off of that one right now. So we'll go to a different one now. So let's take a look and see, are these dudes, let's see what the American men were once thinking about.
What if I told you that instead of setting up a group?
No free advertisements. Let me read some comments here. Salute. Let's see. A man just needs to be taller than me. Yeah. Stephanie Perry, never married, said no to Mexican man because they are short. Never married, said no to Mexican man because they are short. For me, it's 5'5" or shorter. Okay. Dr. Big, stop, Dr. Big. I'm ready to go 5'8" is cool. I just have to learn more Chinese words than say hello. Yeah, I mean, listen, man, come on. What are we talking about, man? I did a video. Listen, I have I think 6 videos that are already been planned to be released. Now that I got, a lot of more subs and stuff, I can do the schedule. I couldn't do that before, so I had to like record it, so I can do the scheduling thing now. So a lot of the stuff I'm going to address. So one of the points I address is, listen, I mean, you got to stop with this stuff, right? Ladies are 5'2", 5'3". Listen, as long as you can put a 3-inch heel on, and your man's a little bit taller than you, stop with this 6'4", 6'5" stuff, man. It's crazy. Stop with all that. Yeah, I can understand. I understand, George. But you said 5'5" or shorter. I mean, I would agree that's. But I know some 5'5" brothers out there putting in work, and so but I would say if you're a 5'5" brother, you got to go someplace where the ladies are really short. So, I mean, but I still know a lot who are doing well. I know a lot who are doing well. Okay, so this is a show. What is the name of this show? I can't remember the name of this show. Anyway, so the brother up here, he's on the top. He's got the full beard all the way to the left, right there. You got the sister on the left with the blue and maybe black shirt, and the guy with the hoodie on with the hat and the Kangol 1985 glasses there. I'm joking. But so his name is Anton Daniels. He's got his own show now, and he has recently come out saying that he's in support of the Passport Bros. So now we're going to stick to American. So that was just what I just want to show you the phenomenon that's going on. Ladies are standards are too high. It's just crazy. It's just absolutely nuts. This is what's going on in China. 100 million women out there, but they can't find anybody. That's just absolutely nuts. So this brother, Anton Daniels, is going to say, I was not in support of the Passport Bros, but now I'm in support of the Passport Bros. Not in this video. The next video I'm going to show you. So here we go. Yeah, I mean, everybody does, right? I mean, I'm sure you do, right? I'm in support of Passport Bros too. Okay, very good. Let's see. I've never made height an issue for me, just as long as he's taller than I. I dated a tall man before, and he was a total headache. Just saying. Yeah, I mean, what about that makes the guy a better person? I mean, we're not living in the jungles or anymore. We're not, so the big, strong, I understand you want that as a what's the word I want to say? Atavistic, natural kind of thing, right? But it doesn't mean he's going to be a good father. So anyway, so let's get to it. So here we're back to where we traveled. Now we're back in America, and we're going to hear what the panel has to say. We're just going to play a few minutes of this.
Next topic, we talking about y'all famous Passport Bros. We had some pastors, black pastors said that Passport Bros are lames and lazy. Let's watch this little clip real quick, because I know y'all love Passport Bros.
Passport Bros.
You don't know what's going on? Passport Bros?
Yeah, these are American men who have decided that they are no longer want to pursue American women, are traveling to Thailand, Colombia, Brazil, some of these other countries, and they're going out there looking for wives. Okay. So that's the movement.
And an attempt to find women who are more submissive.
Yeah.
They're lazy.
Oh, bruh. And lame. That's another. I shouldn't say that.
You think this woman's attractive. You think she's beautiful. You take her out on a few dates. You realize she's rough around the edges. And so now you want to go to Thailand to get a girl that knows 50 English words, but she's going to be so happy to be taken out of whatever circumstance she's in that she'll be your servant for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. It's giving me coming to America, bark like a dog. You don't want a wife, you want a slave.
That's it.
Oh, Keon, what do you think about that? You're new. I don't know your intake about Passport Bros.
I understand it, but I don't agree with it. I feel like if you can't deal with the women in your own country, but then you go to another country to I guess to try to save them or whatever, I think that's crazy to me, because say they do get a woman who only knows 50 words, right? And they bring her back over here and she gets Americanized. I feel like she's going to act just like most of the women in America. So I feel like.
Did you hear what this man just said? This man just said, if you go get a woman from over there, she's going to come over here, you'll bring her over here, and then she's going to act like just the women in America. Why? And to the pastors, what they were saying, right? They're lazy, they don't want to work. Why is it so much of a problem? Why do we have to work that hard? Shouldn't that be the question? Why do we got to work that hard? So he understands it. So he said he understands it, but he don't like it. So you're going to go over there and get this woman. Why don't you just deal with the ones that are here? But if it's so hard, if you don't like the attitude, right? Because insinuated in his comment was you don't like the attitude. Not talking about all. This man said it. If you don't like what's going on, why can't we change it? Something to think about.
Like, I just don't see a point. I mean, I understand passport bros, but I don't fully agree with it personally. You know, I feel like you should be able to deal with the women in your own country. Here in America, in my opinion.
Do you also think that guys should marry women of the same race?
No, I think not at all. I wouldn't put a color when it comes to marriage. I just think if they both equally yoked, you know, and they both align together, then I think go for it. But I don't think they should do it based on race. No.
You know, Miss Sanchez gonna hit you. You better watch out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I want to play. That wanted to play for there. That's all I want to play from there. So, let's see. A couple of comments here. I don't blame passport bros. I really want you to elaborate on that if you don't mind. Linda, depends on the guy. Plus, guys have preferences. We should too. Let's talk about the height thing. I mean, I'm not saying, yeah. Some guys do have a problem with the women being taller than them. Truth be told, they just looking in the wrong places. Please tell us, Miss Smart Singer, where should we be looking at? Where should we be looking at? Where should we be looking at? I'm about to be a passport sis. Yeah, probably go over to get you a Chinese man, right? It's human nature to seek people competitions where they can win. Of course, that's excellent point, right? If you're a 5'5" guy, right, you're gonna go to some place where you can win. Right, and same thing with the Chinese dudes. They were like, "Listen, we out of here, right? I'm paying these $28,000 dowries, $80,000 dowries, $2,000 a month stipend." Okay, most men want a servant, just a person to cater, and someone to placate to their whims without having to cater to theirs, because men really don't want to express empathy. Okay. Truth be told, they don't have to work that hard. They just need. Okay. We can go together, sis. I think passport bros are going to get out there and find out the truth. Black males are not the preference. No, I mean, listen, if it's a white male, that'd probably be number one. But I seen some pictures. They're getting something. So you can't be equally yoked with individuals who have difficult values. That's why with passport bros, they just have to be different. Okay. Watch the videos of the bros living in dank one-bed apartment in a third world country. I haven't seen that. So, okay, so that's that one. So passport bros are corny and lazy, right? So let's see. So now this is the one with Anton Daniels. Now supports the passport bros. So I'm saying to show that some people are now changing their minds because of what I would assume what that guy just said, right? The hard work that's involved.
Masterworks is the
hard work that's involved, and I don't think it should be that hard.
I've never said this before. I've never advocated for this before. I'm gonna let Quentin and How To Man have it after this.
This is crazy.
I have never ever said this that I'm about to say right now, and I didn't think that I would ever come to this point. It's time to get y'all passports.
Anton Daniels officially says, men, you should get your passports. You've heard it here first. Anton was one of the main individuals, a staunch advocate for men staying in the United States and tolerating the relationships that they were getting, well, the quality of relationships in which you were getting. Now, he said, men, I thought I'd never say this, but you should get your passports. We're going to do a reaction to this video, as well as some of the commentary that he and some of his team had to say about the passport bro movement in the past. And why is Anton, as well as others, changing their mind about the movement right now? But before we get started, my name is Andre, and you are watching Travel Unraveled Love Crossing.
Okay, so that's that. Last video, last video. Then if anybody wants to come up, I will drop the link. We can have a conversation, or you can type in the chat and read it. But if anybody wants to come up, you are certainly more than welcome to come up. This will be the last video we're going to play, and this one is from a guy who's really, really blowing up. His name is Orion Taraban, and he is a psychologist, and he was too.
They tend to dress more conservatively than Western women.
He was saying that he too thought the passport bros were creepy and broke and all that. And so then he went to Japan, spent a little bit of time in Japan, and now says, you know what? I get it. I get it. So the name of the show is It Time to Admit There's a Problem? So these brothers, whether some brothers, as I showed, are leaving China to go get wives. Some brothers here in the U.S. have gone over, and these two people, I mean, this is not a scientific study at all. I'm just saying that some people who were one time against it are now like, you know what? I get it. I get it. So if you want to come up, I will drop the link after this. So here we go. Orion, we're going to play a couple of minutes of this.
I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is Psych Hacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is passport bros and international dating. So this is a topic that has come up frequently in the comments of several of my videos, and it's a topic that I've been requested to discuss by many people over the last several months. If you're unfamiliar with the subject, passport bros is the collective term for a movement among Western and specifically American men who are increasingly pursuing mating and dating opportunities abroad. These are guys who are flying to places like South America and Southeast Asia and the Middle East in order to access sexual opportunities that they argue aren't available in their home country. And I'm going to respond to this phenomenon through the lens of my recent experiences spending a month in the country of Japan. Now, I'm not very knowledgeable about this phenomenon, but to be honest, there was always something about the passport bros movement that felt a little sleazy and pathetic. Without really examining it, my perspective was similar to the prevailing attitude, which was something like this movement was for guys who were too low status or unattractive to beat out their intrasexual competition here. They couldn't get laid in the States, so they basically engage in geo-arbitrage to leverage a relative advantage that wouldn't exist in their home country. My attitude was something like only guys who couldn't get what they want from women here would need to uproot their whole lives and travel halfway around the world, which kind of made these men out to be conniving beta males. That was my attitude before spending a month in Japan. That is no longer my attitude now. Having spent a month in that country, I think I better understand where this movement might be coming from. And I definitely don't think it's just for loser men who can't get laid in America. Allow me to explain. From the perspective of my interests and preferences, the quality of the women in Japan was significantly superior to the quality of the women in the Bay Area.
Think about what he just said and contrast that with the other guy who said, just deal with the women here. Right? If you go get one from over there, that's what the guy said. He said, if you go get a woman from wherever, you bring her back here, she's going to act just like the women in the U.S. And he just said that the quality of the women are better. And I'm not making this to bash or beat up anyone. I'm just telling what the people's experiences are. And if people are saying that these are people's experience, at what point do we say, you know what, maybe there is a problem? Maybe there is a problem. And, you know, when we look at men and they say that men, you know, traditionally were, you know, they're not living up to it, they're not making enough money, that they don't want to go to school, then men have to say, hey, you know what, maybe we need to level up. Maybe we need to level up. So could that be the same thing that's going on right now? It's like, you know what, we got to take a look at ourselves. So this brother said these guys were betas, they're sleazy, they can't get women, and they go over there and he sees the quality of women, he's like, you know what? I get it. I get it.
Significantly superior to the quality of the women in the Bay Area, like not by a little, by orders of magnitude. Let me break down some of the various factors that go into that statement. First of all, the women in Japan are slender and physically healthy. I spent a month in some of the largest cities in the world, and I must have seen 10 overweight women in that entire time, half of whom were little old ladies. And these overweight women weren't morbidly obese. They were like plump. maybe 20 or 30 pounds overweight max. Most Western women literally couldn't buy clothes in Japan. The vast majority of Japanese women are slender and physically fit, which is appealing because it's not only attractive, but it indicates a compatible value as well. Like, I want people who care about their health. Second, these women are feminine. They wear dresses and heels and makeup. They tend to dress more conservatively than Western women. No tight clothes, no showing a lot of skin. The feminine ideal there seems to be like softly elegant, flowing and modest and dignified. And these aren't 1950s housewives. These are women who, for the most part, are working professionals. They have modern ideas. They are educated and accomplished, but they haven't thrown out more traditional conceptualizations of female beauty. This is not something you can easily find in the West anymore. And you can't find it at all in the Bay Area, at all. And I find feminine women very attractive. It resonates with me and inspires me to be even more masculine. Now, before I go any further, if you're liking what you're...
And this is a white guy, if anybody hasn't noticed that. This is the blue-eyed, blonde-haired white guy who's saying this.
Hearing, please consider sending this episode to someone who might benefit from its message, because it's word of mouth referrals like this that really help to make the channel grow. You can also hit the thanks button and tip me in proportion to the value you feel you derive from this episode. It's your donations that make all this possible. I don't do the product placements and the corporate sponsorships of other channels of this size. And trust me, I get like 50 different offers a day. This helps me stay independent, and it helps me to do what I need to do to keep the channel going. So,
okay, I want to give him a shout out right there for that. So I'm going to leave it off there. You can go over all this stuff. I'm going to put the links in the after the show. I'll put the links in there in the descriptions because but I too want to stay independent, and I would appreciate any love, support, and all that kind of stuff. So you can always, if you want to buy me lunch or something like that. But I certainly would appreciate any of that. So that's it, right? So I showed the what's going on in the Asian community, brought it back to America with some brothers, and I finished off with this, with the white doctor who's going through the same thing in the Bay Area, and says these ladies is something that is vastly going on. So again, I'm going to ask the question, is this a phenomenon that ladies, American ladies, need to address? Please hit my like button. I can't see how many likes. I only see one. I don't know how many we have, but please hit the like button. At the bottom of the screen there, bottom of the chat, there is a little $sign. You can also super chat me or whatever. I would appreciate that. So I'm going to read through some of these. The at the top of the screen there, at the top of the chat should be, I pinned the StreamYard. If anybody wants to come up and have a conversation, we certainly can. Let's see. I met my black husband in Japan. I've lived in Europe for 8 years. I visited Europe. I don't know if I want to go back though, honestly. High vibe personality issues. That's not a good combination. Emotionally balanced men are really just want a partner who is respectful and cooperative. Maybe you are just dating an environment of insecure men. This idea, man, that you're dating the wrong women, you're dating the wrong men. I mean, we got I think the problem is the pool, right? I mean, if you look at the pool of people around you, right? Why is it so hard to find these men? So hard to find these women, right? That's the issue. If you can't find any really good men, where are they at? If you can't find any really good women, where are they at? Japan is dope. It's definitely on my list of countries I want to travel to. It's true, and they become Americanized. Yeah, this is a problem. It's a problem. The problem is y'all don't provide us with resources, protection, security like men from other races. I think that is something we're trying to address as far as the resources and all that. I mean, certainly there is economic factors that destabilize the black community in particular. But here again, I played a white guy who's from the Bay Area, who's in well-to-do circles. This guy's a doctor, and he's saying, this guy's a psychiatrist or a psychologist. He's a psychologist who's saying, listen, this is an issue. So right, so can this guy not provide resources? Why is he having the same problem that other people are having? Right? Does that mean the other men are better too? I don't think so. I think it all comes down to economics. Remember that the men, yeah, it all comes down to economics, right? So American men make the most in the world. I think, I think that's a pretty good statement I can make, right? Japan, right? The dollar goes further than the yuan. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. So I mean, so it's just about resources, right? So if you go to, you name the country in Africa or Ukraine or whatever, you're going to make more than the men there. So, and that's why a lot of guys are getting their passports, going, working online, going over, working in an American company, work and living over there. This is why they're doing it. Let's see. Yes, true. Here we go with the weight. He said it. This guy said it. He said it. Let me get that was not a good picture, right? He said it. So let's see. True. Let's see. He's a mess. I feel bad because he's a mental issue that I don't know if he's receiving treatment or maybe something he can help him with. I don't know. Lies. They have naked women in the newspaper every Sunday. I mean, there's going to be sex work everywhere. I figured that high vibe. Oh, we got somebody jumping up. Thank you so much. Make sure you say your name. I appreciate you. Somebody jumping up. I appreciate that. Anybody else wants to jump up? Feel free.
Hi, can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear. Thank you so much for joining.
No problem. So I'm Glorious. Well, you can see my name. Can you see my name?
I can see it. Yes, Glorious. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So this is a great topic. And I actually before I came up, I was thinking, I was ready to say that this passport bro thing is getting on my nerves and all of that stuff, and I don't understand why they're doing this. And I was going to come from the perspective that oftentimes when they do this, when they go over and find these wives that are supposed to be so much better than the American wives, they find out that, like the one gentleman says that, they're having a struggle with language barriers. They can speak 50 words of English, and then once if they bring them back to the United States, they learn some things about their quote unquote ideal wife that they didn't want to learn because they turned into something else. And I was also going to say something about like my military background as a military wife, that I would often see American military men marrying foreign women, and they find out that they would be when these men go out in the field or get deployed or whatever, they'd be the worst ones in the club. I mean, just the worst ones in the club, just doing everything. They would quickly find that out. But I said all of that because after I kind of listened to this last gentleman, and I don't know why, but when I listened to this last gentleman, I just started thinking that, you know what, our society in the United States, I would say the West, but even more so in the United States, is just so I can't think of a word. I don't want to say vile, but but I can't think of another word. It's just so, bad. I'll say that, so bad and so unconservative. And then you go to these other countries, and there's still an element of conservativeness in these countries. And I see that. I've been there. I visit a lot, to go to other countries a lot, and I've lived there. So I see that there's a level of those societies still being conservative and still having a certain amount of certain standards and values that the United States no longer has. So, I begin to, kind of realize that, he may be right. He may be right. They're finding something better there, which is unfortunate. But how do we turn this around?
That's an excellent question. How do we turn that around? How do we turn this around? Mm-hmm. Listen, I first of all, I appreciate you coming up, and you've asked some really poignant questions, right? And your experience of seeing them and you saw the good and the bad, right? So you saw them, these
Yeah.
guys would get deployed, and next thing you know that they're in a club. Listen, I've heard it all too, right? So I work with a guy who married a Filipino wife, and then he brought her back here, and he comes home from work one day and he finds her in bed with his landlord.
Yeah.
So you got to obviously got to find the right one. But yeah, so this is an issue. And to the point about the US ladies, I mean, first of all, you got to recognize that this is a problem. And that's why I'm naming the show this, right? You got to recognize that this is a problem. And a lot of ladies don't see this as a problem. The men too, right? They don't see it as a problem either, right? The women are dancing on stage, right? You go to the half naked, you go to the store.
Yeah.
And so you're not seeing this as a problem. And so when you go over there, like this guy did, he's like, I spent the month over there, whatever he did, and he sees this, he's like, yeah, this is an issue. This is an issue.
It was weird. It didn't really click with me until unfortunately it didn't.
So you saw the white guy do it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the white guy saying
You know what? And I was thinking that to myself. I was like, yeah, of course, girl. Of course you're going to, why is it had to be from him that you
why is it and listen, that's why I played him. I had the Asian guys, I had the black dudes, and I had to complete the sandwich there with the white guy in the end there.
I mean, I don't know why, but it did. It kind of clicked. And I don't think it was necessarily him. It may have been more like the way he put it and how he explained it, and then he actually brought, articulated what he was seeing and gave examples. It may have been more of that than anything else. And then I start looking in retrospect and remembering what I saw. I mean, I was just in Europe in April. I was in Italy and Spain in April. So, and when I compare even those Western countries, when I compare the two, it's like, oh my gosh, we are ratchet. I mean, we are ratchet. I can't think of it any other way to say it, but we are literally ratchet here. And you would think that countries as free as like Italy and in Spain, they're Western countries, but it's different. You don't see the women. You don't see the women going out looking like, okay. I know I'm gonna get it for this, but I gotta say it. I have got to say it. You don't see the women coming out in two extremes: the pajama pants and bonnets. You don't see that at all in Italy or in Spain either. You don't see that. You see them coming out when they're coming out the house. They're coming out, giving it. I mean, dressed not sleazy, but dressed to the nines. Everything, hair done, makeup, everything done. They look like they're going somewhere. You don't see that. You don't see over revealing, clothes and all of that stuff. And this, like I said, this is Europe. And it's not even, they're considered Western countries, advanced countries. So, yeah, that part. I'm sorry.
No. You're good. Let me read this comment here because I'm not sure what it means. Is it that they are slim, wear makeup and heels with feminine clothing, and he doesn't see that anywhere in his neighborhood? Listen, this is what he's saying. He's from the Bay Area. I'm sure that he's probably living in different communities, and this is what he said. I always hope for some depth, and I never seem to hear it. So I don't know what more you need to hear. I mean, listen. I'm going to get to Clever Girl Reading, but I want to just talk about with our community in particular, there is the allegations of attitude. And if that is that what you want to hear, that there's an allegations of attitude, is that the more depth that you want to hear? So he's talking about the femininity, he's talking about the weight, and just their presentation. But that's my 2 cents. What say you there? And thank you for joining Clever Girl Reading.
Howdy. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, great. My take is, where should we start? The weight. We could start with the weight. I watched a documentary today about poor white people in South Sudan in Africa. Guess what they look like? They had a lot of weight on them. They were very unattractive people because they're poor, very poor. And so in our communities, the thing that we have is, like I keep putting up there, is we don't have resources, we don't have protections, we don't have security from our males. because our males don't own, we as people don't own anything. And so we're not taken seriously around the world because we have no power. And because we don't create our own jobs, and because we don't have our own businesses, because we don't have our own schools that's specific to our needs, our males get what you call a classroom, the prison pipeline. Because
School
we
to
don't
prison
have our
pipeline. Yeah.
school to prison pipeline, right? And because we don't have our own hospitals, our women die more in childbirth than any other race. And we have other specific health conditions that doctors don't listen to us about because we don't have our own hospitals with our own Black doctors in there to take care of our own Black problems. And so you can say that Black women have attitudes, and we do. And the reason we have them is because we are the most unprotected women in this country because we don't have resources. Even Native Americans have casinos where they make a lot of money. Some of them, I'm not saying all of them, but we have the capacity to have our own businesses because you can look at places like Baltimore, you can look at places like Atlanta, you can look at places like Washington, D.C. We just decide not to do it for some reason. And we tend to lean on other races to take care of these problems for us. I live in a predominantly Black and Hispanic neighborhood. And it's at the side of town, actually. I stay on the southeast side of town. And so I can drive all up and down the street and see Hispanic businesses left and right. I can drive all up and down the street and see at least 4 Hispanic grocery stores. There's no Black grocery stores over here. I need to go to the dentist. There's no Black dentist over here.
So, and listen, I agree with that. I definitely push and support for Black businesses, and this is something I really want to try to take a more nuanced look at. And I definitely agree with that. As far as we got to do for ourselves. If you want self-respect, you got to do for yourself. And so no one should ever forget that we had a time when we had our own dentists and libraries and you name it, hospitals and all that, and sports teams that were owned by Black people, and we just kind of we just wanted to be part of the dominant society because of our insecurities, because of our self-hate, whatever you want to call it, and that's an issue. So I don't disagree. I don't disagree with all that.
Racism took a lot of that from us. However, it doesn't matter. It's like we had Black Wall Street, and they tore it down, and we built it back up. So what we have to do is do it anyway, because there's a recession. Are we in a recession right now? Or depression? I keep forgetting. I know it's negative. Okay, I know it's negative inflation. And what's gonna happen is just like in 2021, 2022, a lot of people lost their jobs. And you know what will insulate us from that, from racism and stuff like that, is if we create our own jobs. We create our own schools, our own banks. What do you call it? Predatory lending and banking. It's so much racism out here, and our males just like, whatever, it's fine. We just lean on whoever out here to take care of us. And this is why we have no power. This is why we can't get along and there's infighting, because y'all want us to be submissive and feminine, but y'all don't give us no protections. We're out here doing things by ourselves. Or we trying to do them together, but even together, we have zero power when it comes to economic dominance.
Well, I think that so the protection issue. Do you not think that if we saw what do you think would solve the protection issue? Certainly, I protect my family. My So what is it as far as what protection do you think that you would need? I mean, as far as the community. I mean, as far as setting up our own police forces, security forces. I mean, what and protect us from who? From
before we need and other people. And so in our community, the majority of the crime is committed by young Black males. Now, it seems that the majority of these young Black males are coming from single mother homes. However, Black males live in our community, and they see these young Black kids doing stuff, and they don't pull them aside and get them in check. And so what would protect us, again, is economically, would protect our whole community is if we had our own businesses. Try to go up in a white neighborhood and try to start some stuff and see if they don't beat you down or call the cops on you. Try to go up in a Hispanic neighborhood as a Black man or a Black woman, try to start some stuff and see if they're not going to do something to you. Try to go into the Asian community around here. You can look on the computer and find where Asian people are beating people down with brooms because they came in there and stole like a piece of candy out of their store. We don't have that in our communities.
But
No,
I think
anybody can walk in our communities
Your
and do
points are
anything
valid.
to us.
Your points are valid, definitely.
I think a lot of this leans on personal responsibility. You know, I agree for the most part, but I think that blacks have in recent years. When I say recent years, I mean in the last 50 years or so, have decentralized. Black people have abandoned, in a lot of cases, in my opinion, have abandoned some of those grassroots kind of startup businesses and things like that, and have gone with the big bucks. Have gone. When I say decentralized, you mentioned the area of Washington, D.C. and Baltimore. I actually am a Washingtonian, so I kind of understand. The Baltimore is horrible. I don't know if you've been there recently. It's like a war zone there. So there's certain areas you can't go. But using the Washington, D.C. area as an example, you have some of the highest paid Black people in the United States in the Washington, D.C. area. As a matter of fact, the 3 highest per capita incomes are in that area right there in the 50-mile radius within Washington, D.C. You have the wealthiest Black county in the United States, in Maryland, the Prince George's County, Maryland. If you look it up, it's the wealthiest per capita, and the homes there are gorgeous. You got Black people making millions of dollars living in that area in multi-million-dollar homes. Now, I said all of that to say is that these Black people are not in their own startup businesses. Most of them, they're in tech. They're in high tech. They're in medical. They're doctors and medical supply and things like that. So they have pulled out of community-based programs. There is no longer a Black-owned community-based program, Black-owned grass-level stores, pharmacies, or anything like that, because they pulled out of that. So part of that is our responsibility, and some of the reasons we don't have those things anymore. And that we don't look at those things. We would be, willing to frequent other businesses by other nationalities. Case in point, the beauty supply business. I have to use that little business by itself. The beauty supply business. We are the ones who buy most of the products in the beauty supply business. Supply all of that funding for the beauty supply business. And there's not. If you know of any Black beauty supply businesses that are successful, you can probably name them on or count them on one hand across the country.
But we don't have suppliers. We don't have
Well, of course we don't. They have direct supply. They have direct supply.
Right.
They
From
do.
their own people. Right.
Yeah, they do.
We don't have that.
But
So that's a good point. What would it take to build up that? And I really don't know, right? So what would it take to build up the supply to get our own hair, for example, right? What would that take?
We would have to become manufacturers, our own manufacturers, because African people don't like us, so we can't get our supplies from Africa. And so as we are in a unique position as I ain't calling myself African American no more. I'm Black. Africans don't like us. I do not like Africans. I will not support them. And so I won't support them in anything. But you should see how nasty they are to us. Just have a one-on-one conversation with them. They don't like us. And so, but we would have to literally become our own manufacturers in this country to meet our supply and demand. And so, and we would have to buy from each other. I keep saying some people
and not buy from others.
Well, no, we can still buy from other people because what my thing is, while I want us to have our own exclusive stuff, I still want our civil rights. I still want us to be nosy and involved in other people's jobs and businesses, so we can bring those resources back to our communities, and we can also keep our rights enforced as Black people in this country. Because if we take ourselves completely from society and try to put ourselves in an exclusive position where we only deal with ourselves, we're going to take ourselves out of other people who make policies and procedures, other people who have other people who like Black people and try to help us as well. We need friends, it's some good white folks out there. It's some good Hispanic people out there. It's some good Asian people out there too. But we don't want to exclude ourselves from some of the freedoms that we enjoy being in this world as Black people, that because we help build this country. We it's owed to us. So not only that, but we also, like I said, we need to be exclusive about certain things in our communities, like where our food comes from. We got Black farmers. Some of them just got a huge payday from
A huge payday.
Yeah.
Right about
and
now, I
so-
wish I was a farmer right now, right?
well, we do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway. So, but I'm sorry for what they had to go through. They had to go through hell to get to this payday. But
let hold on. I don't want to cut you off, but I don't think that we can just kind of gloss over that, because that is endemic of our problem overall, right? So that was them. The farmers, what they went through about being excluded deliberately, but that has been our that has been our history. I was just listening to a reparations debate today. I mean, it's kind of old. It was like a year old or whatever, but I was still listening to it. About, and it was, I think, Yvette Carnell. I don't know if anybody listens.
I love her.
listen to her.
Love her.
Right? Yeah. So this, what has happened to us, right? So all these people who don't like us, and Africans don't like us, and Haitians who come over here, and Jamaicans all come over here, and they don't like us, and whatever. I mean, I've heard that, but we have to take a full accounting of what has happened to us and the continued emasculation that has happened to our people throughout our entire time of being here, and has never been fully corrected. I mean, the payday that the farmers got, I mean, that's them. What is that? 0.05% of the Black population. How many others of us have suffered because we don't open stores, or we were too scared to open them? We talk about, and I definitely agree with what you're saying as far as the protection aspect of it, right? We had to, we had very few, we had the Deacons of Defense, and we had the Black Panthers who would kind of stand up, and all that trauma that has happened to us, right? If you fight back, if you say something, you'll be arrested, you'll be lynched, you'll be the court systems against you, get you. All this stuff has brought us to where we are, where people just say, man, we just, you people just didn't, they point us like, what's wrong with you? You lost your culture. It's been a constant barrage. And I'm not trying to excuse it. I'm just saying this is things we mentally have to get over and say, okay, here's where we were, here's what they did, but here's what we're going to do. That's the point that we got to come to, is here's how we're going to build the businesses. Here's how we're going to support these businesses. Here's how we're going to grow these businesses. Here's how we're going to take back our communities. Until we get to that place, we're going to continue to have these problems. But I didn't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
Let me answer Linda West first. She asked, what did she say? Do you see these mothers respond? How these mothers respond when anyone tries to correct their sons? It is the reason many Black men don't intervene. And so I really don't think Black men intervene a lot anyways. And so depending on what what's going on in the community, they may become a coach or something like that, but we don't have enough Black teachers, so Black male teachers. And so what we need is soldiers. What's going to happen is, men, you have to do it anyway. If you see these young dudes out here in the street doing something they shouldn't be doing, mama couldn't make them into a man. Man up and get them. It's more y'all than them. So you have to get them under control, or you can start watching those prison videos that's coming out now. Have you seen that little young 17-year-old dude? It's a young Black male. They got him on a leash, walking down the stairs on his hands and knees. And what I love too now, I'm getting off track, but I'm gonna try to come back around to the thing. The thing is, Black men do not get enough credit, and so I've been hollering in this internet space for a couple of weeks now, especially when Kevin Samuels was on. I was hollering. But what Black men are doing, like T. Hanson Johnson, please start watching his videos. What he's doing in a very calm way is discussing how Black males have been mistreated, how they have been given wrong identities as being the most violent, and the fathers who don't do the most. And what I love it, and it's another guy, Medium Man. Start watching Medium Man. I think his wife Mona is on there with him. He's put stats on there. He says he's a statistician. I haven't seen him put his own stats up there, but he'll gather the information and show it to you. That the FBI says that black males are the most violent in our country, and you can see it on the TV. But then it's another male that told me today. He was like, black males are the most exonerated also of the crimes of murder and rape. And so over 60%, I think it's like 70% of black males are exonerated of murder and rape. And so I'm so joyful. I'm so happy. They're saying black males are in their children's lives 66% of the time. And so and they're doing it more than any other males in any other culture. They're also the most stepfathers. And it makes my heart so glad. I just want to cry and praise God, because we have such a bad image of each other. Black men and women hate each other. We can't stand each other. And it's done on purpose. It's done on purpose. And so you have to understand, when the government came around and said, move out your house and we'll feed your children, and y'all handed the household over to black women and the government, you're going to get a woman that's a feminist. You're going to get a woman that's going to have an attitude, because we were left to run the households. And so, and now you're coming back in and you're saying, hey, we want to be in charge. We want your submission. You have to understand, my submission is not cheap. I'm going to give it to my husband. I'm going to give it to God. But I'm not just going to give it to any black man who comes. Any man, first of all, but especially black men have a problem with women being submissive. And so when you go into these spaces where it's mostly black males, they'll tell you to shut up. They'll mute me and stuff like that. But I'm like, I'm not here for you to tell me what to do. That's not a thing for us. And so when you say that black females need to be submissive, I'm like, well, white women, their men create jobs, create homes. White women, y'all keep telling us we're not natural. White women get the most. They get their hair dyed. They get fake hair in their head. Their haircut. And
you can't tell. That's right.
You can't tell, because that man created the conditions for them, so that when they go get their Botox and them fillers and them injections, and y'all think they the prettiest things on the planet, they are not natural. They are not even close to natural. But y'all telling us we need to be natural, while y'all hollering after some other chick. And it's not just us. It's not just us. Go to the Latino community. They do a lot of surgery as well. Yeah. Not just plastic surgery. They do all this fake other stuff too. And they wear a lot of makeup, but y'all don't know. And then y'all be like, black women, why y'all got your fake nails and hair and stuff on? We're trying to be attractive to y'all.
I'm going to tell you, you're already attracted to me. So, I mean, I love black women. I love black women. So,
praise God. And that's the thing. We do love each other, because the majority of black men will marry black women. It's just we're not meeting in the same space, because the agenda was to get us to go at each other. And it's more, they get us to go more at each other in the black community than any other community. But it's because we are unprotected. We don't have the shelter of businesses. When this recession really kick in, it's gonna be a lot of y'all losing y'all jobs, and y'all gonna have to go to the government to get your unemployment check, and then you're gonna have to go to another man in another race to ask for a job, because we don't create our own jobs.
Well, I think it's time that we start doing that. Whether it's obviously the barbershops, lawn care, you got to definitely do something. You got to do something. So, and I definitely agree with you that we got to start our own businesses and support our own businesses, and that's got to be the primary place where we shop. So
black women did start a lot of businesses, I think like 2 years ago, and a lot of them failed, and black men cheered because we failed.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that. I mean, we got some internal trauma that we really had to kind of root out.
Yes.
Internal trauma. Anyone else wants to join the panel, you are more than welcome. I reposted the you can stay on if you like. It's up to you. Okay. But yeah, no, it was definitely a great conversation. I really, really appreciate it. If anyone else has anything to add, we've been on for an hour and 25 minutes now. I didn't realize it was that long. I think the word submissive is getting all.
I'm going to drop down
Okay.
as well. Thank you for having me, and great conversation. I'll be in the chat though, for sure. Probably going off in the chat, but okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I think the word submissive is getting all tripped up. What is really wanted is respect, willingness to compromise, and a true partnership. Yeah, well, I would agree with a lot of that. So, if there's nothing else, man, we've been on for an hour and 26 minutes. I didn't realize it was like that. So I really, really appreciate everyone who came up, Clever Girl and Ms. Glorious. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for checking out the show. Listen, if you want to buy me a lunch or whatever, I would really, really appreciate it. If you have a show topic, you can always email me. I have 6 recordings that are already good to go. I've already uploaded them, so one's going to drop tomorrow morning, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the next next week and a half or so. So send me, and it's really great when you guys send me something as far as a show idea. I can just kind of drop it off in there. I just record it, drop it off. So I really, really appreciate that. I think there was something else I wanted to talk about. Thumbs up. Yes, please thumb up and like the video. Please do that. Please do that. So people have been coming and going. I can't see the likes. All I can see is mine. So where are we at with the likes here? Please thumbs up and share the video. 32 likes. I appreciate it. Hit that like button again, though. We're at 47 people watching right now, so please make sure that you do that. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Glorious. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much for the $4.99. I really, really appreciate it. My stomach is going to appreciate it too. Thank you. 32 likes. Thank you so much, High Vibe. Thank you. I appreciate that. Listen, again, we're going to call it for tonight. Thank you so much. Next week, I think I'm going to talk about, I wrote it down what I was thinking about talking about. A little bit of what we talked about tonight. Do black men really like black women? All right. So we're going to talk about the hair, the makeup, the nails, the ratchet versus what kind of woman do we like? Had a conversation in the comment section, which I always appreciate. What is the preference? Ratchet women versus the traditional woman, all that kind of stuff. So I want to talk about that next week. And if you have anything else that you want to talk about, you think there'll be a great show topic, or just want me to drive around and talk about, let me know. Continuation of this part 2. This was more about the passport bros, but I guess it's supposed to be about the passport bros, where we're gonna get into, which type of woman do black men really, really want? Whether the ghetto, sexy red type of thing, or is it the more homebody, quiet type? Man, I got 1 or 2 videos already that I wanted to show about that, and then we'll get into it. So yeah. Inflation, right? You ain't lying about that. Thank you so much. Coffee. Yes, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much for the super chats. I really, really appreciate them. Thank you. I put it to good use, I promise. Not sexy red. And here's the thing. I don't think sexy red is ugly. I think she's a beautiful woman. I like African features, right? Sukiana, sexy red. I like African features. So this stuff that they're doing, and it's just their attitude. It's just, I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. Black men need to stop sending mixed signals. Well, we'll talk about that next week. We'll get into it next week. We're not going to do that now. So anyway, make sure you hit the like button. Hit me up in the comment section. Video dropping tomorrow morning. I really, really appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. I will see you guys next week. And take care. Much love and peace. Take care, everyone.